Alright, what is going on? Back with another video. Hopefully you guys had an amazing week. It is Friday, so the weekend is here, and once again I plan on having a lot of fun. Me and my son are going to do some things outside the house, and we're actually going to do a good bit of gaming too. So Saturday and Sunday is pretty much fulfilled already. Hopefully we'll be able to make it that far to do something. You know, it's only a day, but you never know what may happen. And plus my wife, you know, it's Mother's Day, and you know, my wife is gonna celebrate that, and I'm gonna go and talk and have a good little, spend a little bit of time talking to my mom as well. So nevertheless, we are going to talk about this topic on the live stream tomorrow. So this is something I definitely want to talk about, and something that I experienced yesterday and also the day before. So let's go ahead and get into this. The PlayStation 3. I'm starting to believe that the PlayStation 3 is probably the high point, and probably one of the, if not the high point in gaming history. Now I know people gonna probably say that yeah, the PlayStation 3 was cool, but the Xbox 360 had better online, and you know, some of the games ran better on the 360, and I agree. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not, but I do believe that the PlayStation 3 did have slightly better games, and the fact that it was naturally backwards compatible with the PlayStation 2, and some of them, well, the majority of them was you know, all of them was pretty much backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1. You know, if you got a fat PS3, you got pretty much probably the best robust console ever made. And I'm not, you know, saying that jokingly. Now, I love the original Xbox. I'm a big fan of the Dreamcast. Super Nintendo is one of my favorite consoles as well. Then when you look at the modern stuff with the PlayStation 4, I like the PlayStation 4. I actually like that a little bit better than the PS5. But when I look at the PlayStation 3, you're looking at a console, especially the fat PS3. You're looking at peak gaming, where you had not only the PlayStation 1 library, the PlayStation 2 library, the PlayStation 3 library, you also had a store there, which the store is still open, and you can go look at some games on the store, and some of the games probably are disappearing for some unknown reason, but the store had some amazing games on it, and some of those games you can't find anywhere else. And the online, albeit it may be a little weird, but you can play online for free still to this day, until they decide to get rid of all that, you know, stuff. I mean, I know they got PlayStation Plus, but the actual play people online with PS3 games are actually free. Nevertheless, I've basically put my PS3 on deck with its PlayStation 3 3D TV that I have, which, you know, is a PlayStation branded like TV monitor, and I've never seen PlayStation 3 games look as good natively. Now, I know you can get them on the PlayStation 3 emulator, and I know some people are probably already thinking about that already, and I get it, the PlayStation 3 emulator is awesome, but I like to play games natively, and on the PlayStation 3 emulator, it's not backwards compatible with the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1. So I am looking at my setup, and I'm like, man, this is actually pretty awesome. And I had this set up a couple of times. I made videos about why I love the PlayStation 3D TV and all this other stuff, but to actually have it set up the way it is, it's like it's basically made for the PlayStation 3, and the games look really good. You can play the games in 3D if that's your thing. It is actually pretty good with PlayStation 1 games. And a fun fact, if you have a PlayStation 2, which, I mean, if you don't have a fat PS3 and you just have the PS3 by the one that just plays PS1 games, if you have a PlayStation 2, you can hook it up through component and still play your games in 240p, which I think that is really good. That monitor actually reads in, you know, works with 240p, because a lot of monitors, a lot of TVs don't do that, you know, and that's really cool. But enough about the TV. I'm just talking about the PlayStation 3. When you look at the PlayStation 3 and its library, I mean, my God, I mean, the PlayStation 3 library alone is absolutely fantastic, and it's cheap. with all these prices going up in gaming nowadays, these are the games that you may want to pick up. Also, PlayStation 2. If you have a fat PS3, get a PlayStation 2, and that PlayStation 2 absolutely will, those games absolutely play on that fat PS3 with a little bit of caveats. I think there's maybe like a dozen or half a dozen games that won't run properly, but hey, it'll work, and it'll work at 1080p. Like, you get them upscaled and everything. And the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 1 works very well with the PlayStation 3. So you got all of these two other consoles, and if you have the PlayStation Store, if you can get through the PlayStation Store and the PS3, you can navigate through it. You can get some very awesome cheap games still to this day. Some PlayStation 1 games that are really, really expensive. You can find a way to get those off the store, and yeah, you're good. Now, another thing you can do, which I had one of these, but it kind of died on me. I had a jailbroken PS3 that does pretty much everything. Not only that it played PS1, 2, and 3 games, it also had a situation where it was hacked where you could play MAME on it. So I played like NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I played a whole bunch of Sega Genesis games. I was playing a lot of Super Nintendo, NES, and if you have a jailbroken PS3, that's even better. And in some cases, you can still get a jailbroken PS3. To me, I got what I want with my PlayStation 3. I'm not really bugging about the jailbroken stuff, but it's an excellent option if you can find one. I highly recommend it, but I've been there, done that, and I don't want to go through get another one, in my opinion. The one I got is a stock one, and it works very well. And also, like I said, the PlayStation 3 library is absolutely awesome and cheap. The PlayStation 2 library is absolutely, not as it's not as expensive either. You can get some pretty solid PlayStation 2 games, and we already know PS1 games. Nobody really is checking for PS1 games anymore either, so you know how that goes. Now, I will say, these fat PS3s are not cheap. You find a fat PS3. I remember a guy picked up one from one game store I was at, and he paid and let me tell you something, these games are more expensive. I mean, that console in some cases is more expensive than the Xbox Series S. I mean, these consoles are going up to $300-400 if you're not. Jesus Christ, I got a lot of noise. Hold on, y'all. That's kind of ridiculous. Let me roll up my windows, because that's kind of crazy. But some of these consoles are actually pretty expensive, so you got to be mindful if you're buying a fat PS3. But if you get it, like I said, to play PS1, 2, and 3 games, and if it's up and running, you can still get into the store and do all the other stuff, it's well worth it. And hell, even if you get a jailbroken one, it may be more expensive, but that's even better because you can play other emulators on it. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at my setup for the PS3, which, I have a whole bunch of other consoles set up in my game room. But when I set up my PS3 and I set it up to my my PlayStation 3 TV, when I hooked it up to that, and I was like, man, this looks great. Because sometimes PS3 be looking kind of weird on some devices, but it looked good on that particular monitor. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I definitely will be talking about this in the live stream. Like on Saturdays, I go live between 9 and 9:30. Hopefully you guys will come through and we can talk about that. I also want to talk about GTA and that trailer. We'll talk about that. I may even, put the trailer up so we can react to it. And also, there's other couple things I want to talk about. I want to talk about physical games and how I feel about that. Basically, if you run down the videos that I've done throughout the week, I want to do a recap on all of those videos, and I want to get straight feedback from you guys. So definitely Saturday between 9 and 9:30 Eastern time, AM Eastern time, I'll be going live. We'll talk about all that stuff. And also, I probably will be streaming on Rumble as well. I plan on trying to go dual stream, and because in my opinion, YouTube is cool, but I do have a channel on Rumble that I use, but I need to get more interaction out of that account. So I'll probably be on Rumble as well. So we'll talk about all that. I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I will see you guys on Saturday morning. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. I'll see y'all on the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.